Hello and welcome to Toasters Coasters. This is the first of what I hope will be a series of tutorials where I go over the techniques I use to improve and spruce up my parks without using custom scenery. I want to do this because I played without CS for a very long time, and while I do use it now, it's still helpful to know how to manipulate the in-game scenery, and a lot of people still struggle with using the default scenery. I apologize for the sound quality. I don't have a good microphone at my disposal, but anyway, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a nice open-air station without custom scenery. So the first thing you'll want to do after building your station is to place your entry and exit buildings. I'm doing one on each side, but whatever makes sense for your ride. The next thing you'll want to do is go under the colored walls and pick the 1/3 height block wall and set it to whatever color you would like. I'm using a muted brown because I want my station to have some earthy tones to it, but whatever works for your ride is also acceptable. And I also use the small wall because it's a lot more flexible than the larger ones and can be built to practically any height that you could want. And so with that, using the inside border, not the outside border, closest to your station, build a perimeter that is the length of the track and 3 spaces wide. So that creates the base and foundation for the building. For the next part, I recommend the 1/3 height colored slate wall since it can be set to any color, but for this example, I'm going to scroll down to the Sultan's Palace walls and use the 1/3 height wall since it has some texture to it. With it, you can build a second set of walls right on top of the first one, which adds some nice aesthetic variation to the building. And once that's done, you can clearly see the shape of the building taking place, and you get a really nice solid foundation. Then, to set up the interior, go to the office walls and select the flat roof and set it to whatever color you want to use. I'm using white for the time being. Raise that piece up and place it at every square at the top of your building and under the track. Another thing about this piece is that it has minimal collision detection, so you can even place it on your entry and exit platforms. Once you've done that, go to the little 3D house icon in the scenery menu and hit the paintbrush. If you set the bottom left to gray, you can recolor the track so that the entire platform and the entire floor have a uniform color. So now it's time to go beyond the base work on the structure and go to the structure of the main station building. And you start that by going to the western town walls and selecting the fence piece and building a perimeter and grid with it throughout your station. Staying in the western town walls, the next thing you can use is the porch platform with steps. You can put this in a corner of your station, then scroll back to the colored walls and use the window and door wall pieces to create sort of a control room for your coaster. It's not an integral part of the design, but I think it's a nice touch to add some realism. The last part and the hardest part is building and supporting the roof. I start by placing a roof piece on each side to know where I need to place my supports. These particular roofs are the straight porch half roof from the western walls. Also in the western walls are the porch pillars, which go on top of basically every fence you've already put down. In the center, build them up to 1/3 height above the existing roofs and continue them all the way to the ground so you add some additional texture and variation to the foundation walls. On the sides, they get built up to the height of the roof. And once that's done, you can use the porch roof and roof corner to complete the full roof and give it some overhang. And then for the peak, use the 1/2 slate roof from the colored walls. But once that's done, you're done with your station, and you have a nice looking roller coaster station done with no custom scenery. Some finishing touches, it's always good to spruce the entire area up with some foliage, which is not difficult to do. If you choose to, or if you think it looks better that way, you can use the porch platform from the western walls to create a roof between the peak and the rest of the station. And you may have to delete a few walls around the entry and exit platforms, a few walls and pillars, just so you can add entry and exit pathways and queue lines. but that shouldn't affect the overall appearance of your structure. So that's it for this tutorial. I hopefully will have more coming up. If you enjoyed this or thought it was helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.